Good afternoon to all. So today we have the first hands-on session on text summarization. Uh, Good afternoon, Dr. Navin Saini.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Fine, fine. So ma'am has already covered today about the summarization, all the techniques of the summarization. And now, welcome to Dr. Navin Saini to this Atal FDP. 30 participants has already joined, and we'll start. After that, participant will join. So let me introduce Dr. Navin Saini. Dr. Navin Saini has completed his PhD from IIT Patna. He has received his MTech degree in Information Technology from YMCA University of Science and Technology, Faridabad. His current research interest include text mining, machine learning, multi-objective optimization, and evolutionary algorithms. His area of research broadly covers many facets of extractive summarization. He has also authored more than 16 research articles. He is also member of various professional bodies, including IEEE, SCM, and many others. He is the recipient of travel grant from IEEE Computational Intelligence Society and Microsoft Research Lab to attend various international conferences. Recently, he got the CIMI postdoctoral fellowship to work as a postdoctoral researcher at University of Paul, France. Okay, so congratulations once again, Dr. Navin Saini, for this offer you got from this CIMI postdoctoral fellowship. He has also offered to work as an assistant professor in Unsung University, South Korea. So he has now two offers in his hand. So he will decide to which one is happy to join. Wish him all the very best for your future, Dr. Navin Saini. Now session is yours. If you want, in between this 1 hour 30 minutes, you can take 4 to 5 minutes break, as you told me earlier. No issues are there. Now, Dr. Navin Saini, session is yours. You can start now.
Okay, yeah, thank you, sir.
Can you on the video once so that our participants can see you once?
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah, just a minute.
Yeah. So this will be also eager to see you. That's why. And then thank you very much. Now you can start and of your video, and you can start the presentation along with the answer. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. So is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, fine. So hello everyone. In the previous session, Sripana have already discussed the text summarization and its multiple flavor, including single document summarization, figurative text summarization, and then finally microblog summarization. So in this section, I am extending the microblog summarization, in which I will show the demo, so how to run the code, and I will also discuss the briefly about the text summarization. Maybe if someone has missed the last session, then they can recap about the what is text summarization. Then I would like to cover the extension of microblog summarization to the multimodal microblog summarization. And finally, if time permit, then I will cover the scientific document summarization. So now what is summarization? Summarization is a task of automatically creating a compressed version of the text document. Here document can be in the form of set of tweets, web pages, single document, multiple document that should be relevant, non-redundant, and representative of the main area of the text. Or in other words, we can say a text that is produced from one or more text that convey important information in the original text, and that is no longer than half of the original text, or maybe significantly lesser than that. But why we need the summarization system? Because it helps in reducing the data, or we can say compression, able to cover the theme and central idea of the document. So by seeing a summary, we can judge the what is the main content of a particular document which has been summarized. Active reading, because it is increasing the readability of the user. Decision making process, a user can make a decision fast by reading a short summary. Save time and easy to implement. So going further, there are generally two approaches for the summarization. First one is the extractive and another is the abstractive. So in extractive, let's understand this by an example. Given a set of sentences, our task is to select a subset of sentences forming a summary. While in case of abstractive summarization, given a set of sentences, our task is to construct a short summary by reconstructing the sentences, which required natural language generation and understanding. So this is an example ma'am has already shown. This is the document. So here set of sentences are there. So colored sentences are extracted to form a summary. While in case of abstractive summarization, this sentence is reconstructed to give a abstractive summary. So my focus is on extractive summarization. So coming to the microblog summarization. So you can see during any disaster event, lot of tweets are posted, and these tweets have varying characteristic. So some tweets are related to emotional, some are related to sympathy, some are related to donation, and some are the crucial tweets which may be important for the disaster management authority. So if we can find out the crucial tweets, that means which are important for the disaster management authority, then that authority can read those tweets and take the immediate relief operation. Here our first task is to classify the tweets into situational and non-situational. Here situational tweets are the crucial tweets, and then provide these situational tweets to the rescue team. But problem is that to read all the situational tweets by the management authority is very difficult, because there can be lot of redundant tweets are there, or maybe some different tweets are there, but their meaning are same. So that's why there is a need to summarize the situational tweet and then provide that summary to the rescue team. So our focus is on this part. Now, there are some examples of the situational and non-situational tweet. Situational tweets, you can see here. Let's discuss an example. This is a UK flood, that means Uttarakhand flood. Call BSNL number. This number is there. So maybe this number can help the disaster management authority or some peoples to take the help relief operation. Or maybe you can see that consider an example non-situational tweets here, like TH Hagap ID. Thought prayers for everyone in the path to find hope lessons from the. So they are just praying for the persons who are affected. So they are the just examples. So this example has been also shown by ma'am. So here the given a set of situation tweets are there. So colored tweets are extracted by the proposed approach. So we can formulate the problem statement like this. Given a set of situation tweets, our task is to select a subset of tweets which optimize three objective functions, namely anti-redundancy, maximum TF-IDF of the score, maximum length of the tweets, and all should be maximized to obtain a good quality summary. So here, to optimize these objective functions, we are using the multi-objective binary differential evolution framework. So is there any doubt? Then I will come to the coming to the demo. If you have any doubt, then you can ask me, or maybe some text you can text me. Should I move?
Continue.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm because I'm discussing the just basic of because basic like which are needed for my code. Okay. So that's why I will introduce the small things like evolutionary algorithm. So evolutionary algorithm are the inspired by the biological phenomena of the human beings in the nature, which start from a set of solutions, or we can say we can say individual. So here you can see that there are individuals are there. These individuals are also called solution, and these set of solution are called as population. So in the next step, mating pool construction will be there. That means parent selection. So parent in the next phase, by applying the genetic operators, they will generate the new childrens, and each children is associated with some fitness value. So in the next step, we will compare this new population with the old population, and then we will select the top best solution, and then finally we will update the population. So this iteration will continue until which reach the maximum number of generations. So this is the flow of differential evolution. So these are the solution. For each solution, a new solution is generated, and then keep on this, and then all population is merged the new population, and then we select the top best solution, and then we will just keep on it iterating until we get the optimal solution. So this is the flow of binary differential evolution. If you have any doubt, then you can raise any question. So we start from a set of initial population, then end with the by providing a set of parent optimal solutions. So these are the binary operators. Now coming to the objective function. So microblog summarization. So a tweet can be important from the multiple perspective. For example, here, so that's why we have used the three objective function. First one is the anti-redundancy, which calculate the dissimilarity between the tweets using the word over distance. Another objective function is the maximum TF-IDF score of the tweets. So it calculates the different TF-IDF score of the different tweets, which should be in the summary. And another third one is the maximum length of the tweets. It calculates the length of all the tweets which are supposed to be in the summary. So this is the word over distance. I think this has been already covered in the previous session. This is the flowchart which madam discussed. Now, starting the description of the code. So what will be the input and what will be the output? So input will be the set of tweets, and output will be the multiple summary of the fixed on varying length. So why multiple summary? Because our framework is based on the multi-objective evolutionary algorithm, and every multi-objective evolutionary algorithm provide a set of parent optimal solution at the end. And from those solutions, user can select any solution based on his or her choice. So here the framework is the multi-objective optimization framework, for which we have utilized the multi-objective binary differential evolution. Now coming to the code. So this work has been already been published in the IEEE Transaction on Computation Social System, and the corresponding code is available on this link. So anyone can download the code if needed. I will show the step by step how to run the code, and also with the help of the snapshot. I will also show the demo. So this is the GitHub link, and these are the some folders which are available on the GitHub links. So coming to the code description. So it contains different folders. First one is the evaluation. So it includes the rules package to evaluate the summary quality. So rules basically calculate the overlap between the predicted summary and the available gold summary. And there are different versions of the rules, like rules 1, rules 2, rules 3. Here one is the it count the number of 1 gram overlapping unit. Rules 2 means it count the number of overlapping units using 2 grams, and so on. Next folder is the SMEA. So it includes the flow of binary differential evolution. Another folder is the cluster validity indices. So it includes the definitions of the objective functions, create children. It includes the procedure of generating children, or we can say it is a part of binary differential evolution framework. And the other folder is the data set, which include the data sets used for my work along with the goal data. Examples to include the files which are need to run the program. For example, here I mean SBLAST one is there. Pre-processing, it have the code to pre-process the tweets. Also include the file generated after pre-processing. For example, HBLAST2 match TF5 txt have TF5 of the all the tweets. Now, how to run the program? So, during this work, the Python 2.7 was available, but I think this has been very old. So the current code has been developed in the Python 2.7 version, but can be extended for the later versions. Next step is the for download the PyCharm community version. So for Windows, I have already provided the link, and for Linux, I have already provided the command to install the PyCharm community version. Third step is the download the code from the GitHub repository and unzip it at any locations. Dr. Satya, hello.
Yes, yes.
Hello. So participants are interested to download the code. Maybe I am not aware. If they are interested, I can give time to download. Maybe if possible.
Just ask them to the participant if they want to download it and they want to do with you, then they can.
Okay. You can maybe ask to the participants if they are interested.
Yeah. So if you want to download this PyCharm, you can use this link and you can download, or you can search in Google also. If you're going to write down jetbrains.com PyCharm, it will give this link and you can download it now. And you can install. It will take hardly 2 to 3 minutes or maximum 5 minutes. So Dr. Naveen can take a break for 2-3 minutes, and you can download and you can do the hands-on with Naveen sir if you want. Anyone want to install it now? We are ready to give the time. Yes, Mr. Sunil, you want to download it now?
Yes, sir. I want to download.
So we are giving only 3 to 4 minutes. Okay.
Fine.
Yes. Okay, Dr. Naveen, you can give 2 to 3 minutes break to them so that they can download. You can. Yes.
Sure.
Dr. Naveen, just copy and send the links in your chat box so that directly, if you can.
Okay, I'm sharing the link.
I will ask Dr. Naveen to send the slide today. So if you are not able to download it now, you can practice it later also. No problem. Today, I will ask him to send the slide so that I can provide you. And you can practice later also. In the chat box, you can paste.
Yeah, just I'm pasting.
I think they have to install the community edition.
Yeah, community, because
Yes.
another version is the for yeah.
Yes, yes.
So
They
that
have,
is the paid.
yes, yes.
Dr. Satya, I have mailed you because I am not able to paste, like maybe some technical
Okay,
issue
okay,
related.
okay, okay,
That's
no
why I
problem.
mailed you. Please share the among the participants.
Okay, okay, fine. Let me check. Yes, I got it. Oh, not coming. Anyway. The actual that was one image. No problem. Not an issue. You just in Google you just write down this what your PyCharm automatically that will come. PyCharm installation now download. Okay, so let me. Yes, I got for that. Yes, the link. Oh, sorry, I have sent privately. You have to download the community version. Okay, through this link, from this link you have to download the community version. Two version is there. One is professional version, another community version. So you have to download the community version. Then it is very easy to install. Nothing is there. Any one of you has downloaded and installed? Any one of you?
So can we move maybe?
Yes, Dr. Naveen, we can move. Okay. You just send me the slide after the session so that I'll provide them and they will do. Okay.
Yeah.
Not possible. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start the code description. So these things I have already discussed. Yeah. So the step to run, like install the Python run 2.7, then install the PyCharm community version. Like then download the code from the GitHub repository, and then you can unzip it at any location. And then in the PyCharm you can open the project. Maybe I can show better to show. Yeah. So like let me. You can open the PyCharm, then open the project, and then choose the unzip folder from the location where you have unzipped it. And then you can install the required package like PyCharm, NumPy, and Time Pandas. And then to run the program, you have to open the example folder. And in that example folder, there are many files for each dataset. Like for example, here for Hyderabad Blast, there is a main hblast1.py. So then run the program and input the values of parameter used. Here there are the three. So this is the code. This is a main blast sblast.py. So here you can see that there are three input files are there. First one is used to first one is the matrix obtained using the word mover distance, or we can other words we can say. So it is the matrix showing the word mover distance between the different bits. It is square matrix, and it is utilized to calculate the objective function one calculation, that is antenna density. So another input file is the TF-IDF score. So I have already pre-computed the TF-IDF score to avoid maximum computation. So it contains the TF-IDF score of the different weights. So it's a single column. And third file, input file is the objective function. Tweet length. So it's also a single column. So these values will be used in the calculation of the maximum tweet length of objective function 3. Further 3 more files are there. This file is the set of tweets original data set. And for each data set, there are 3 types of summaries are there. Summary 1, summary 2, and summary 3. They are provided by the different annotators. And this is the gold summary 1, gold summary 2, and then gold summary 3. And these are the input parameters which we have to provide at the runtime. First one is the population size. You can maybe 50, 20, you can keep any. H is the meeting pool size. That means how many solution can generate, how many solution can make to generate the new solution. Another is the S-min and X-max. So in the initial discussion, I have provided that we can have the, at the final generation, we can have the various summaries of varying length. So which lies between the S-min and S-max. Here, S-min is the minimum number of tweets to be in the summary, and S-max is the maximum number of tweets to be in the summary. And this is the time, and T is the maximum number of generation. So after those lines, these are the 4 lines starting from the 124 to 129. So these are the 4 lines which are important, which are the important part of this code. So all the evaluation like more framework, more multi-objective binary differential evaluation framework, generating new children's, the evaluation is done by these 4 lines. And this line, final population, comma K, this is the very important line because most part of the code is lying among this line. Rest of the line are the just initialization. So rest of the lines in the code after line 29.1 evaluate the quality of the summary generated and then store them in the output CSV file. But now these are the snapshots which I have shown. Now how to initialize the population? So we have, as you know, we have posed our microblog summarization framework as a binary optimization framework. Therefore, each solution is presented in the binary form and randomly initialized. You can say here representation of a solution is shown here, and these are the tweet indices. 0 means the tweet should not be in the summary, while 1 means tweet should be in the summary. So the set of solutions in the initial population are randomly initialized, but noted that the number of ones, or we can say number of tweets in this solution, should not exceed the limit. That means they should be between the S minimum and X maximum. So these are the different objects correspond. So as there is a solution, so each solution is associated with some fitness value and the other feature. So these are the class corresponding to the individual, where different set of feature is there, like crowding distance, non-nominated solution. I will discuss these features, their objective value, dominance, and K. So these are the different features associated with the individual. So you can see that I am locating the this is the individual file and located in the SMEA and then individual. So I'm also providing the path. So this is the code for generating the individual in the SMEA problem ZTT, then init.py. So here you can see that in if an individual class is created, and then set of solutions are initialized with their with a number of ones lying between S-min and maximum.
Dr. Saini, can you zoom your screen? Is it possible to little bit zoom your screen? Control plus plus.
The slide show.
Okay.
Okay. So is it not visible?
No, visible, but very small. Okay.
Actually, it is a snapshot now. So if
yes,
I left hand, then maybe
yes. You can continue.
So it is the initialization of the solution. You can say like we are initializing the solution between the S minimum and X number, X maximum. We will generate a random number, and then accordingly we will put the number of ones at different random places in the solution. Noted that the length of the solution is equal to the number of tweets in the data set. So and then its objectives functions are also evaluated using this line self load calculate objective. So our defense solution framework, like the first step is to initialize the condition. So our first step is completed. Now coming to the next step, objective function evaluation calculation. So here you can see that in the SMEA problem ZTT and ZTT3 definition, I have provided the objective function definitions. So F1 is for anti-redundancy. So this file is taking input from the input file which I have shown earlier, and this is the F2 objective functions will calculate the sum of the TF IDF values of the different tweets to be in the summary. F3 is the tweet length function. So here, for example, what is happening there? So suppose this is the solution. So here, one is there at 2, 4, 6, and 7 position. So to calculate the TF IDF score of a tweet, what we will do? We will calculate the TF IDF score of this tweet, second, fourth, sixth, and seventh tweet, and then we will do the summation of these TF IDF score of the different these tweets in this solution, and then finally that will be the score of the complete solutions corresponding to a TF IDF score. So this step, next step is the fitness evaluation function, which is completed in this step. Now coming for the new solution generation. So so here you can see that there is a evolution function is there, evolution.py in the SMEA folder. So evolve, I have told earlier that which is the most important line in this in the code, evolve. So it generates the like create initial population. It will call the previous slide. Maybe you can call the initial population, and then it will create the new children. So here this is for population initial population, and this line is for the creating new children, because in the differential evolution we have to create new children or new solution for every solutions. And same slide. So here this children function will call the utis.py, which is located in the SMEA folder. So here you can see that create children is there. So for each individual in the population, because I will told you that for each solution we have to generate the new solution, and this line is the multi-objective. This line are the part of multi-objective differential evolution framework to generate the new solution, and thus this step is completed. Moving further, we have to evaluate the objective functions value corresponding to the new solutions. So here you can see that after this there is a new solutions. There is a evaluation of the objective, the calculation of the objective functions like self.problem.calculate objective. So this step is also completed. And finally, last step is that the update population. So to update the population, we have to select the top and best solutions. So to perform this, firstly, the old population is merged with the new population consisting of new solution. If there are n solutions in the population, then there will be 2 n solutions after merging. As in DFT, for each solution, new solution is generated using the genetic operators. Then non-dominated sorting and crowding distance operator is applied to select the top and best solution in the objective space. So if someone don't know how to select, how it is non-dominated sorting and crowding distance operator, then I am discussing them in brief. So coming to the non-dominated sorting. So let's first discuss the terminology. So as multi-objective evolution starts from a set of solutions, and each solution is associated with some fitness value. So here we have shown the different solutions, solution 1, 2, 3, 4 in the objective space, And these are the some objective functions value. Solution 1, 1, 1. This is the objective 1, and this is the objective 2. So here, what is the relationship between the solution? So let our problem is to minimize the both the objectives for corresponding to this figure. So here you can see solution 1 is 1, 1. See this figure. Solution is 1 is 1, 1, and the solution 2 is 1, 2. So here we can see that in terms of the F1 value, both solution 1 and 1, 2, solution 1, 2 have the same value. But in terms of F2, solution 1 is better than the solution 2 because solution has the minimum value as compared to the solution 2. So here we can see that say that solution 1 is dominating solution 2. Similarly, here comparing the solution 1 and 3, here we can say that solution 1 is dominating solution 3 because in terms of the F2 value, both are equal, but in terms of the this objective one, solution 1 is better than the solution 3. So similarly, so this is the domination relationship. Solution 1 is dominating all the solution, and this is the non-domination relationship because see the solution 4 and 5. By seeing the value 2, 2, 2, 3, and 4, 2. So in terms of the F1 value, solution 4 is better. But in terms of the F2 objective function value, objective 2 value, solution 5 is better. So both are non-compared to each other. So we can say both are non-dominated to each other. So that so here we will calculate the dominance and non-domination relationship. Now, what is non-dominated sorting? So non-dominated sorting divide the population P in K fronts. Let's set of these K fronts in descending order of their dominance. The division of the solution in front is such that for all the solution belonging to a kth front, all the solutions should be non-dominated to each other. Second condition is that for all the solutions belonging to the kth front, there exists at least one solution in the previous front such that solution 1 dominate the solution sol dash dominate sol. So an example of non-dominated sorting. How to obtain the K fronts? So to obtain the K fronts, two things are needed. First one is the domination count. Another is the dominance relationship between the solution. So domination count of a solution in a population P is the number of solutions in the P which dominate sol dash. For example, domination count of solution 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are 0 because 0, 1, 1, 2, and 3 respectively. Because the domination count of solution 1 is 0 because it dominating all the solutions. So similarly, we have calculated the domination count and the domination count and the domination relationship between the solutions. So here, number of n solution is the domination count. That means how many solutions are dominating it. And S solution means how many solutions are dominated by the solution 1. So here we can see that we have calculated these relationships. And then in summarizing a table, we have find out that the solution 1 has 0 domination count while rest have 1, 1. The solution which is not nominated by any other solution will be of rank 1. That means we can say in the front one that is of higher rank, in that rank solution will be there. Now, now proceeding further, how to create the other front. So solution 1 is removed from the competition. Now what we will do, we will decrease the domination count of the solution 2, 3, 4, 5 because these solutions are dominated by the solution 1. So now solution 1 is removed from the competition. We will decrease the domination count of the solution 2, 3, 4, and 5. So here we can see that it is already 0. 1 becomes 0, 2 become 1. So here you can see 2 become 1 and 3 become 2. So here we can see that So now in the next phase, solution 2 and 3 have domination count of 0. So they will be of front 2, or we can say their rank will be 2. Moving further, now so 1, 2, and 3 are removed from the competition. Only solution 4 and 5 left. So in this solution, so here in this solution 2 and 3, solution 4 and 5 is there. So we will decrease the domination count of solution 4 by like here it becomes 0, and then solution 5 it become 1. Then again solution 5 will become 0. So we can see that in the final phase, the domination count of solution 4 and 5 becomes 0. So in the last front, the solution 4 and 5 will be there. Thus, we have obtained 3 fronts. In the front 1, there is a solution 1. In the front 2, there is a solution 2 and 3. And in front 3, there are solution 4 and 5 basically. So these are the algorithm for non-dominant sorting. Now, crowding distance operator. So sometimes, suppose I have told you that we have to select the top best solution. So for solution which 1 is of higher rank, then solution 2 and 3 are of lower rank as compared to the solution 1. Suppose out of these solutions, we have to select 2 solutions. So we can as solution is of higher rank, we can directly select. But out of solution 3 and 2 and 3, which one to select? That we have to decide. So here is the competition because both are non-dominant to each other. So here what we will do, we will calculate the crowding distance operator. So it will see which solution are lying in the more crowded region. So this is the algorithm to calculate the crowding distance operator. So maybe if you have any doubt, that I can discuss with an example. So here, here you can see, this is the code like evolution which I have just shown you. There is a I have created a loop like I equal to 0 to number of generation. So here creation of children will be there, and then there are the 2 steps like self.utis.fast non-dominant sorting. So by calling this function, it will call 2 functions like fast non-dominant sorting and then crowding distance operator. And then finally, we will update the population as new population equal to population. So in the next iteration, so this will be the current population. So in the final generation, we will go to the set of paired optimal solution. Now, how to select the best solutions? So so we have utilized two methods. One is the supervised, another is the unsupervised method. So in the supervised method, first we have generated the summary corresponding to the different paired optimal solutions, and then select that solution which has the highest Rujwan score. Note that Rujwan score require the gold summary to evaluate it, but in the real time we may not have the gold summary in our hand. That's why there is a need to develop an unsupervised method. So in this method, we have calculated the adaptive weighting scheme in which objective function values are summed up after multiplying with their respective weight. So these are the data sets which you have utilized. So now coming to the demo. So any doubt is there till now? Hello?
You can ask any doubt is there? Anyone having any doubt? Dr. Naveen is now going to show you the demo. If any doubt is there, you can also clear during the demo also. Fine. So continue, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So I am opening my project. Suppose my project is I have unzipped the folder like GitHub folder in the Python project. Then I am just opening it. So here you can see that these are the different folder which I have discussed. Now about running the code, the package are already installed. So I have discussed that in the example folder, you have to, there are different files are there. You can see.
Sir, nothing is visible.
Yeah.
Nothing is visible. You have to again reset that screen. Dr.
Okay.
Naveen, you have to reset that screen again. You just stop this one.
Okay, fine.
In Zoom, there is the problem. If I do it in Google, then you can share the full screen.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So I have opened the project in my PyCharm. So these are the different folders which I have shown you. You to run the code, you have to go to the example folder, and there are different files are there. Main hang-up ID, hblast, and leave. These are the 4 files. So these are rest of the file are not important. So let's open the main hblast.py. So these are the required package as well as the inbuilt folder which I have called. These are the 3 files which I have shown. Like for this one, we use for objective function calculation. This is the TF header score of the tweets. These are the tweet length of the each tweet. So let's show the TF header score. So maybe. Yeah. So these are the TF header score of the tweet. Like this is the tweet number 0, 1, 2, 3, and 2.3 is the TF header score of that tweet. So now moving further, this is the actual tweets. Goal summary 1 from line 67 to 76, and then line number 80 to 90. These are the like summary 2, and then summary 3. And then line number 108 to 1117, there are a set of input parameter which has to be input by the user. And this is the time starting running the code where my code is starting. And these are the 4 to 5 lines which are important, which I have shown. And the main important line is the evolution, which is calling all the required packages, or maybe some different code like creating children, non-numeric sorting, cloud distance operator in a single run. So let's run the code, and these are remaining lines are just evaluating the quality of the summary using the rules code, and then storing them into the CSV file. So I will show how they are storing. Now what will be the output files? Let's show this by an example. So here, yeah, so I forgot to run the code. So to run the code, you can maybe click on run. So it will ask for the dataset name. So what you have to do, so in the microblog summarization where the ng folder is there, in the output folder, create a folder by any name. Maybe you can create hblast, or maybe some local name is there. So my folder name is the YY. So I will put here YY. So my screen visible now? Yeah, Dr. Sutam, my screen visible?
Yes, visible.
So these are the just printed. I have printed many things like gold summary 1, gold summary 2. They are not required. So enter the size of the population, like how many solutions would be there in the population. Like I am just putting maybe 20. Enter the meeting pool size. Let's say it is the 5. like number of solution to make new solutions. Minimum number of bits, like let's say it's the 36, or let's say it is the 40 maximum. Enter the maximum generation, like let's say it will be 10, and then just starting. So it will run the code, like it will generation number 0 and then generation number 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's wait for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. So maybe I can move further. Yeah. So now after running the code is running. After running the code, what will we get? In the output folder, which we have created in the output folder, like KK or maybe YY. So you can see there are different things are there, like generation wise details, Pareto friends, predicted summary, and annotator score. Annotator so in the generation wide details, there are the different folders for the different generation, and the each folder you can see I have shown the another snapshot here. So here so here you can see that though in like it is the folder corresponding to generation 0, it is the best resulting solution, which is the best solution corresponding to the different measure. And then the root score was corresponding to the different at generation 1, and average summary score overview. And these are the different predicted summary corresponding to different period optima solutions obtained at the different generation. So this is for generation. Similarly, there are different folders for different generations. And then in Pareto friend, it include the Pareto friends obtained and the different generation. For example, I have shown like with SOM and without SOM based operator. So here you can see that with SOM based operator in the generation 0, there are a set of solutions distributed in the space, and then in the generation 2, you can see the plot number D. In the generation 10, and then solution are optimizing, and at the 20th generation, the solution are obtained up to the optimal value. So this depend on the number of maximum number of generations. So similarly, I have shown the result Pareto friends obtained using the without SOM based operator. So again, solution are randomly distributed in the generation 0, and then generation 10 they are optimized. And at the 20th generation, you can see the solution are more optimized as compared to the 10th generation. So these are the Pareto friends which I have shown. So these are the parameter used in my code. These are the results which I have madam already shown using the supervised selection method. That means we have to select the best solution using the two method, maybe supervised or unsupervised method. So these are the results using supervised, and these are the results using unsupervised selection method. So these are the comparative results. We have obtained the state of the art results. So these shows the exploration and export behavior. Uh, yeah. So these covers shows the exploration and exploitation. So exploitation means searching nearby region, while exploration means giving opportunity to search the global space. So these plots show the with and without SOM-based operator. So we have plotted the number of solutions generated, that means number of good solutions generated at each generation using with and without SOM-based operator. So here we can see that red plot so is the without SOM-based operator, while black line is for without SOM-based operator. So we can see that the red color line have high number of good solution as compared to the SOM-based operator. So that's why we can say, so here for microblock summarization, it required the more exploration as comparison to the exploitation, because SOM-based operator helps in the exploitation, not in exploration. So these are the specific cases which I have discussed. So these are the related publication. So I'm maybe let see the code whether it is completed or not. So maybe second generation is completed. So it will take maximum 1, 2, or 3 minutes more. So I am extending this the microblog summarization work to the multimodal microblog summarization work. So focus of this work is to develop an unsupervised approach to summarize a set of multimodal tweets using the multi-objective optimization concept. So what is the motivation? So anyone can guess. So what is the motivation behind developing an multimodal microblog summarization? I will just answer from the maybe participants. So why we need the multimodal microblog summarization? So any participant can want to give answer. Hello.
Yeah, any participant?
Okay.
The ma'am has told today only why multimodal microblog summarization required. Okay, no, Dr. Naveen, you can say. You can tell them.
Fine. You can see that tweet have a length limitation, maybe 140 characters. Maybe the users which are using the Twitter, they already know. Tweet are shorter in length. So in this scenario, image can play an important role to convey the useful information. Let's understand this in an example. So you can see the last image. So southern Mexico rocked by 6.1 magnitude earthquake. Click below for full story, and there are some links are there. Some images linked are there. So this is the image. So you can see that by reading this tweet, you can just identify the magnitude of the earthquake. But if we can identify the information in the image, for example, like this image is tilted by some angle. So like there is some infrastructure damage. If we merge both these information, their tweet can be more informative as compared to the only the tweet text. So that's why it motivate us to combine the multiple modalities of the tweets, or we can say in our work, tweet text and the image to generate the microblog summary. So this image will work as a supplementary information to the tweet text. So in other words, we can say the main objective this is to develop a multi-objective optimization based approach for microblog summarization by considering multiple modalities. So now moving further, so question is that how to get the image feature. So in the literature, there are different models are there like XLNet, some more models are there. But we can also use that. But a new model is also developed in the 2016, or most probably, I don't remember the exact year, like the image dense capturing model. So what it will do, so it will, in the image, it will first identify the different regions in the image, and then we'll generate the caption, text caption. For example, here you can see that the violet color box is there. So here a man wearing a black shirt. Now see this red color boundary. So inside the red color boundary there is a truck. So a white truck on the road. So using the image dense captioning model is identifying the different region in the image, then generating the caption of that region. So you can see that the caption, different subcaption of this image are written below the figure. So what we are doing, we are merging the tweet text with the caption, identify the dense captioning model, so that if this caption can play a supplementary role along with the tweet text, and then calculate the anti-redundancy function. Anti-redundancy function, which I have already discussed in the earlier microblog summarization work. So in that work, I am using only the tweet text. But here, instead of tweet text, I am merging the supplementary information provided by the image, and then further calculating the anti-redundancy function. So there is a little bit change in the calculating this function. So this is the same flow chart which I have shown. For this purpose, I have utilized 3 data sets, all are related to disaster event: Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, Sri Lanka flood. So these are the different results for Hurricane Harvey. like you can say I have varied the multiple variations, like varied the number of objective functions, that because we cannot decide which objective function is performing best. That's why we have performed the evaluation study by varying the objective functions. So these are the some results. And these are the for Rican Irma, different results are there. And Sri Lanka flood, again I have plotted the box plot, so this is the best combinations. So these are the comparative results. So you can see that mood tweet sum is the developed approach for the microblock summarization when considering only the tweet text. And these our is the multimodal microblock summarization. So here we can see that there is a improvement in the results, huge improvement in the result by considering the multiple modeling. So we can say that the multiple by considering multiple modality of the tweet, it helping in improving of the results. But so by doing some analysis, there is some feature scope is available, because this is just exploration of the multimodal microblock summarization. So there we have done some analysis. We have found that sometimes tweet texts are noisy and difficult to understand. Because, for example, you can see that here tweet text is there. RT means retweet. At the rate root means it is a user. Some special symbols are there. Hurricane Irma useful checklist. So this is the only message, and this is the corresponding image. On the right hand side, there is an image available, which is the checklist, which is to be used maybe before preparing, before happening of any disaster event. So this is important for the important. But the dense captioning model which we have utilized is not able to generate the caption of these images. You can see these are the different in the photo, browse near in the background. These are the different subs caption. Identify the dense captioning model. So this model is not able to. So we have for this work we have utilized the pre-trained model, but that model is not correctly working for this multimodal microblock summarization text. So again, some images are there. The users are generally what they are doing. They are just taking the picture from their low resolution camera, then just pasting along with the tweet text. Again, the model is not able to generate the caption of such type of images. Sometimes there are newspaper cutting are there, which are important, which are giving some crucial information along with the tweet text, but model is not able to generate. So there is some future. There is some like if more work is to be done on this field, or we can, other words, we can say there is a need to develop a dense captioning model for the disaster related images. And I am sure there is no work done in this field, and maybe some people may be working, but maybe if we can do such work in a 1 or 2 months, that will be great, and that may be useful for the disaster management authority. So let's see the code. Then maybe if time permit, then I will move to scientific document summarization. So 6 generation are completed. So let's show some output, I can say. So we have created some YY folder. So you can see that these are the Pareto friends. Is it visible?
Very small but visible.
No, sir. No, sir. Folder YY not visible.
Yes. Very small.
Just this one?
Yes, this one is visible.
Okay. So you can see that this is the plot by running the code. They are the two objective functions, anti-redundancy and the TF score. So we can keep the number of objective functions I have shown in the one slide, like F1, F2, F3. So we can increase. So these are the some solutions in the objective space, and this is front zero, like this blue color is the rank 1 solution, and this orange color, these are the rank 1 solution. Hello.
Continue. Dr. Naveen, continue.
Okay. So these are the generation 0. So they are different funds are there. So let's show the different another fund. So this is the generation number 3. You can see the solution are keep on optimizing. You can see, and I can show some more plots. So maybe I have some data fonts in the slide, so you can refer to that. Now, as there is a time, so better to move on the my next topic, scientific document summarization. So scientific document summarization is a very hot topic in the current recent years. So let's say and discuss about the briefly about this topic. So you can see that there is a rapid growth in the field of scientific literature, and the challenging task for the researcher to gain up to date knowledge of the current advancement. For example, in the NLP field, there are a multiple type of embeddings are coming by the proposed by the different researchers. But sometimes we are not able to detect what is the recent development done in the literature. So that's why user want to just excited to know what has been done in the last few years and up to the current year. So that's why there is a, and it is very difficult to go through the all the literature to gain the recent knowledge. That's why there is a need to develop to summarize the scientific article, or we can say to address there is a challenge. We have to summarize the scientific articles existing in the literature. Now there are two queries in the mind. First one is the why not to go through the abstract of the paper to see the overall idea of the article. But it is general obvious that abstract covers only a broad idea of the article. Or sometime you can see in the NLP conferences there are a limit. There is a length limitation on the abstract, maybe 250 words. So that's why we cannot describe all the things in the form of abstract. So using the abstract rules to considering abstract as a summary of the paper is not a good idea. Another question arises that given a reference paper, why not to go through all the citing to the reference paper and use the citation context as the summary of the paper. You can see that suppose a paper is there, reference paper is there, and paper ABC are citing to this paper. So paper ABC writes something about this reference paper. So can we consider the text written by the reference paper by the papers ABC as a summary of that paper? No, this is not good, because sometimes authors may misunderstand the content of the reference paper. So it may be, therefore, it may be inaccurate to use the citation context as the summary of the reference paper. Now, how to address this challenge? So before going further, I would like to discuss the growth of scientific document summarization. So I am just want to convey that each year there is a shared task organized on the scientific document summarization, and this year it is with AIMNLP 2020. So in the AIMNLP 2020, there are three shared tasks are there in the scholarly document processing. First one is the CL LASUM, LONGSUM, and CL SCI sum. So LASUM, because LASUM is clear, maybe clear to you. That means generating the summary in layman language. Because whenever any article is published, journal editor asks about the three to four highlights about the paper. So that is very important for the and that highlights should be in such words that they should be understood by the non-technical audience. So this is the first shared task, like lay summary is the first shared task held in the scholarly is going to be held under scholarly document processing. So this is the first task, and it is the LONGSUM 2020. So it is the task to generate the summary of a scientific article in 600 words. Because if we give the length restriction of the 250 words, that may not be not convey the all the that may not be able to fetch the all the relevant sentences in the article. And last one is the CLSCI sum 2020. So it is the sixth tier task, and lay sum and the long sum are the first tier task on the scientific document summarization. So its scope is increasing. You can say there are limited papers are there, but in terms of the technique and novelty, there some more work has to be done. So people are continually working on this field. So now, so I have discussed the two challenges, like why not to consider the abstract of the paper, and why not to consider the citation construct of the citing papers as the summary. Now, to how to address this challenge? So to address this challenge, so here given a set of sentences are there in the article, and they are the different citation context are there. Certain text 1, 2, 3, 4. What we will do? We will consider the citation text, but how? We will find out the relevant sentence in this article using the citation text one, different citation text. For example, we will calculate the similarity between the citation text one and different sentences in the article, and then we will consider the top 5 sentences similar to the citation context one. Similarly, for all the citation context, we will find out the top 5 sentences. So this will be, so finally, we will get the reduced set of sentences. And on this reduced set of sentences, we can apply the multi-objective binary differential evolution framework, and like which we have developed for the microblog summarization. And then we will select the best summary from the Pareto optimal solutions. So this is the so I have already told that I have used the implementation developed for the microblog summarization task, and only I have changed the objective function because they varied different depending on the task. So first objective function is the sentence position in the article. So you can see that in any article there are initial sentences are there, and they are obviously important because in the like you can see that in the abstract also the first sentence is most important. Also in the introduction, the first sentence is important. So here position matter in finding out the relevant sentences in the document. And as the maximum similarity with the title. So when you will write an article or publish a paper, the title, the content of the paper should be similar to the title of the paper, or we can say the title convey the theme of the paper. That's why we have considered this as an objective function. So in this objective function, what we will do, we will calculate the similarity between the sentences of the article, or we can say reduce set of the sentences with the subtitle of the article to get the similarity score. Third function we have utilized is the maximum overlap with the top scoring sentences provided by the LexRank algorithm. What we will do, we will input the reduced set of sentences to the LexRank, and then we will select the top maybe top 50 tweets. Sorry, instead of sentences, there should be a tweet. Sentences. So top 50 sentences, and they will find out the maximum overlap between the top 50 sentences and the sentences in the solution. So these are the some results obtained. So these two tables shows the results in comparison to the submitted system in the shared task, and the below tables compare the results with the state of the art techniques. So here we are in the all the on the submitted system as well as some existing techniques, we are able to beat the existing results. So these are the pairs of friends. You can see that initially in the generation 0, I'm showing the two pair of friends in the 2 objective space instead of the 3 objective space because of easily visualizing easily. So here you can see that the solutions are of different rank are distributed in the objective space, and in the 9th generations solutions are optimized. So this is the some summary example, and this is the predicted community summary, the for article number this one, and this is the community goal summary. So here you can see the color lines are matching with each other to provide a good quality of the summary. So now coming to the conclusion. So here in this in this session, we have discussed the microblog summarization and illustrated the demo to run the code, and the importance of the multimodal microblog summarization is also shown, which is yet to be investigated and to improve the results. And finally, I have discussed the scientific document summarization work because time was there. So that's why I thought to discuss that work. So maybe these are the some set of yeah. So this work is been published by accepted in the IEEE International Conference on Pattern Recognition, which is which is in January 2021. So that's why I discussed this work. So these are the, so thank you. Or maybe if we have some question, then you can raise. So yeah, I'm open to questions.
Yeah, participants, any doubt, you can ask the question so that you can implement it. Where it is important to implement the things. If you are going to listen only, and if you think that we can do it later, you just ask what is the problem, because I think some of you have already installed this PyCharm during this session. So if you have any doubt, definitely you can get the code from the GitHub site of Dr. Naveen. But still, if you have any doubt, then you can ask, please.
So these are my code. The evaluation is completed. You can see there are 10 generations are completed, and they are just I am printing the summaries for different this solution 6, solution 7, solution 8, and up to the solution maybe solution 19, because I have different 20. So I have taken 20 solutions, and these are the number of tweets in those summary: 36, 39, 30, and 39. I'm varying between the 35 to 59. So so maybe you can raise question. So I am completed from my side. So I'm. So
Dr. Naveen, have you implemented for the English only, no?
Yeah, English only. So, but in my postdoc, I am moving on multilingual summarization.
Okay, very good. So for the Indian language or for other language?
For European language.
European language. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, any question from the participant side, please? So Sunil, Mr. Sunil, have you any question? Am I audible? Not.
Yeah, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, I think nobody have any questions. Yeah. Okay. So actually, Dr. Naveen, I want to develop one today also in 11:30 session also. I had asked the same question to Dr. Sipanna Shah. So I want to develop one summarization data set for the low resource languages. Okay. So ma'am told me it's very difficult and tedious task because manually you have to do. So can we use like this? We'll take the images from the newspaper or any books through the OCR, and definitely we'll tune the OCR. So after that, by using the TF-IDF, that technology, so we can generate and that is your extractive, because no data is available, so we cannot go for the abstractive. So we can generate the your summarized data for each paragraph. So after that, we'll take those as the trend data set and like your 80-20, and we'll train that one. So how much minimum data set that paragraph is required to publish one data set on summarization? Suppose I will take in my state language, that Odia. So
you are asking for training purpose, no?
Yeah, no, I'm asking for to release the data set so that other can use. Like in Indian language, there is no summarization data set is available.
Yeah.
So that's the problem, because if somebody will go for that one, then nobody is getting anything to train.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. So I want to do that one, though this is a tedious task, but I want to release some data set. I am especially in my language, though it may be tedious, but I want to release that one so that other can use. and after that they can add on that one. So is it possible to the TF-IDF only I can do that one? I will take by using the OCR, I will take the paragraph from books, from newspaper, and then I will use the TF-IDF. What are methods are available for the extractive summarization? I will prepare, then I will somewhere I will release that data set. So my question is, how many minimum number of paragraphs are required or summarization that things are required to publish the data set corpus?
Actually, sir, I got the question. So, sir, there is no minimum limit. Actually, my all system are based on the unsupervised methods. Because you can see that my last work on scientific document summarizing. So they are corresponding to the SEER task, and they have only 40 scientific articles. I am wonderful. Like they have released only 40 scientific articles to the corresponding on the summary, the gold summary corresponding to these articles are openly available. So these are the small data set. So if you are saying there is no open data set for the maybe Odia language or maybe some Indian language, then you can release some small data sets.
Okay.
And maybe as per my opinion, if you want to create this data set, so I would like to say that use instead of using a TF-IDF, use the assembling method.
Okay, assembly method. Okay.
Assembly method. So for example, like some existing algorithm in the Python package is there, and there is some Summa package is there. So there are some existing algorithms like Lex, Rank, Loons, and the text rank algorithms there. So generate the summary corresponding to all the algorithm. Yeah, maybe so you can see the variation of the algorithm, and then use the majority voting, like the which sentence is present in the all summary or in the most of the summary. So in that way you can generate the gold summary. So as per my opinion, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Well, some questions are there in chat box. Priti Bashar, Miss Priti Bashar has asked one question. Share GitHub link from the download code. Okay. So I will do that one. Okay, you just share the GitHub link from the download code. And that link you can share or you can send to me so that I will send in mail. And you just give me that PPT so that I can share to. Okay. So another question from Mrs. CN Savitri. Why have you chosen European language, sir?
European language, maybe in my postdoc. I have not chosen this time.
Yes. Wow. Okay. They are going to provide you because part of the project. Yeah. So another question from Mr. Dinesh. Abstractive text summarization of multiple scientific articles other than coherence, redundancy, and summary length. What all research issues exist? Whether extractive text summarization is performed first, later abstractive text summarization. That is, you can see in the chat box also. The question is there. But from Dinesh, that question is there. Dr. Naveen, can you able to see? At 4:10, he has posted.
I have opened the
chat box. At 4:10, Mr. Dinesh has posted. Abstractive text summarization.
I have seen it. Okay. So he's asking whether extractive summarization is performed first, then later abstractive summarization. So is it the question? Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Posted. Yes.
So we can do So there are multiple techniques available because deep learning techniques are becoming very, very popular. So if we have enough data, then we can train our model and generate the summary. So another possibility is that whether extractive summarization first perform the extractive summarization and later perform the abstractive summarization. So I would like to discuss the one work by IIT Kharagpur. There is a Kaushav Rudra. So he has also worked on the microblog summarization. And in the 2019, there is a paper in which they have followed the extractive followed by abstractive text summarization. They have followed the same approach. But I'm not sure whether this will be fast approach or not. But maybe in my postdoc, I'm going to explore the abstractive summarization along with the multilingual summarization. So maybe at that time I can give more. I can elaborate in a more way. So, but this is possible. This is possible at that time. So.
And another question from Annapurna ma'am. So when she is running the code, there is an error when run the code. Can she contact you later if she is?
Sure. Yeah, sure. I have already provided this scenario. If even problem arises, they can email me or maybe some text.
Okay, if you can just share your mail ID in chat box, though that was in PPT also. Okay, you can send the PPT so that I can share you. And you can, if you want, you can share it in chat box also, so that everyone can.
I have shared my email ID. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody at the time of running any finding and difficulties, then they can contact you directly.
Okay, the system cannot find the file. Okay, yeah, they can send me them some snapshot, and maybe I can help them using the TeamViewer.
Okay, yeah. So email IDs are there. ID of Dr. Naveen is there in the chat box. You can note it out. You can note down. Okay. I'm finding if is there any questions or not.
Yeah, sure.
So very good session. Very nice, Dr. Naveen. Thank you very much. Okay, very nice presentation. Definitely, our participant will ask you later because they have not downloaded till now. Many of them this PyCharm. Definitely, they will download the PyCharm. They will try to run the code. If any difficulty is there, definitely they will contact you and will.
Yeah, sure. I will be there. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Now get started. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye.